feet off this floor. If you were that artist, would you get back up on that scaffold? Probably not, right? I certainly wouldn't. But for me to get back up there at least one more time, he passes away a few months later. So at that point, 2 other artists pick up where he leaves off, and it takes 3 artists 75 years to complete that entire frame. Now I've had you looking up since we got in here. I see some people starting to do this. So we'll talk about the paintings at eye level around the room. I'll give the back of your necks a break. And we'll start just over the doorway to your left-hand side. You'll see that door with the brown trim over it. First painting to the right of that doorway is a gentleman on a white horse with a river in the background. Man on that horse is Hernando de Soto. He's the first European to lay eyes on the Mississippi River. Next painting to the right is another explorer. That's Christopher Columbus. He's there wearing the red, hoisting up the crest of the Spanish royal family that sends him on his journey. Just over the doorway, straight across the room, that is the embarkation of the Pilgrims, the moment where they leave Holland for the New World. And that group starts out on a ship called the Speedway. Now right next to the Pilgrims is the baptism of Pocahontas. She's kneeling down in the white gown, and that's the moment where she is being baptized Rebecca. I don't know if any of you might be more familiar with that Disney version of Pocahontas, but I want to squash a quick rumor. Did you? Right, excellent. Now that Disney version, the cartoon version, has her paired up with John Smith. Not going to earn anyone any points on a history test, right? She marries a man named John Rolfe, standing right behind her, wearing red in that painting. And that leads us right over the doorway to what might be the most recognized painting here in the Rotunda, the presentation of the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson is there wearing the red vest. He's presenting the document to a seated John Hancock. Now you might recognize that image used quite often in school textbooks, especially here in the United States. Also happens to be the image that is on the back of our $2 bill. Great Jeopardy question. You play along with the TV, it's going to pop up from time to time. Good one to keep in mind. Right over the doorway to our side is the Battle of Saratoga and the surrender of General Burgoyne. Really a turning point during the Revolution. After that battle, the French come to our aid with troops and assistance. Right behind us, we have the Battle of Yorktown and the surrender of Lord Cornwallis. Now this is the battle that effectively ends the Revolution. And that leaves one last painting in the room, just to our side. George Washington. Now that's the moment Washington travels to Annapolis, Maryland after the war. And he tells Congress, who's meeting there at the time, that he is resigning as commander of the army. And he gives up all of that military power back to the government. Heads back home to Alexandria, Virginia. 2 years later, Washington becomes our first president. Now, speaking of presidents, most of the statues you see in this room are of past presidents, but not all. We've got a few exceptions. And one of those exceptions is to our side, very conveniently right here. The white marble statue with 3 women carved into it. That's Lucretia Mott, Susan B. Anthony, and Elizabeth Stanton. That's our portrait monument. And it commemorates the pioneers of the women's suffrage movement. On the opposite side of the space, in between the Pilgrims and Pocahontas, is the bust of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now the bust of Dr. King, that was commissioned by Congress to be placed here in the Capitol building. That was unveiled in 1986. But our newest statue is straight across the room, just to the left of the doorway on the opposite side. It's of Ronald Reagan. Now that statue just a few months old here in the Capitol, almost 14 months now. One of our newest in the collection. And when it was unveiled, it was a very emotional moment. Nancy Reagan was here and said the last time that she was in this room was for her husband's lying in state ceremony. A very solemn event that takes place here in the Rotunda. When a distinguished citizen passes away, their body is brought to the center of the room. The public come for their respects. We've had 29 people lie in state here in the center of the space. And that tradition starts in the 1850s.